So today in class we looked at specific problems that do factor the way we normally have in factor, but end up with a special type of answer, which allows us to then solve just using our square root method. These are called perfect square trinomials, and these are the problems that start in this form. And what you'll notice is your first and your last term are both perfect squares, and your middle is the square root of each doubled. And what you'll notice is your two factors, or your two parentheses, end up being identical, which means we can write them as one parenthesis squared. Okay? For example, x squared plus 8x plus 16 is one of these problems. Okay? Yes, I can factor this the way that I normally do. What multiplies to give me 16 and adds up to 8. And what I notice is that both parentheses end up being x plus 4, which I can then write as x plus 4 squared. Our goal kind of with this section is to be able to go from here to this step without having to do that. And what we can do is we can use square roots. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of 16 is 4. Since you have addition or positive terms in the middle, that means your parentheses must have been positive. If you ever have a minus sign in there, that just means we're looking at the perfect square trinomial with the subtraction pattern. Well, what we looked at today in class is how we can use this to help us actually solve a little bit easier. So if you look at this problem, x squared minus 16x plus 64 equals 100. It says to solve using square roots. Well, right away I noticed that this would factor down into x minus 8 and x minus 8, or square root of x squared is x, square root of 64 is 8, subtraction terms in the middle, so I have to use subtraction, and it's factored. Now, to use square roots, once we have something squared, we can just square root both sides and get rid of the squared part. Remember, because we introduced the square root, we need to put plus or minus 10. And then to actually get x by itself, I would need to add 8 to both sides. And so I have 8 plus or minus 10. Now remember, that does mean you have two answers. 8 plus 10 is one of your answers, so 18. And 8 minus 10 is your second answer, so negative 2. And those are your solutions. Looking at another example, again, here's another example. X squared minus 22x plus 121 equals 81. Because this and this are perfect squares and the middle fits the pattern, this is going to go down to x minus 11 squared equals 81. And then I can square root both sides, and I end up with x minus 11 equals plus or minus 9. And then when I add 11, I have 11 plus or minus 9. 11 plus 9 is 20, and 11 minus 9 is 2. And there are my two solutions.